Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Jumping into action, Good Samaritans help save a family after a violent crash on Detroit's east side.
Plus, it's sentencing day as another domino falls in the ongoing UAW corruption scandal.
And we continue to follow breaking news in downtown Detroit, where a meeting is happening to decide on certifying the results of the election.
This comes as the Trump administration tries to dispute the election in several states, including here in Michigan. Make sure to stick with Local 4 and clickondetroit.com for more updates.
Now the latest on the coronavirus here in Michigan. The state reporting 7,458 new cases, 79 new deaths in the last 24 hours. 24 deaths coming from a review of vital records. That brings the total number of confirmed cases to over 272,000, with more than 8,000 deaths.
New at 6, the state's unemployment insurance agency is offering guidance to workers and employers who may be affected by COVID-19. Michiganders who were on unemployment went back to work and are now temporarily unemployed again due to COVID-19 can reopen their claim online. Governor Whitmer also joining other governors across the Midwest for a bipartisan effort for holiday safety. They're encouraging everyone to stay safe during Thanksgiving.
Each and every one of us that chooses to stay home this Thanksgiving and not get together could be contributing to saving other people's lives and our own and protecting our family members. Right now, COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations are skyrocketing in the region, and that's why it's so crucial that each of us steps up and does our part.
Now, just hours before another shutdown, the state's restaurants are suing to stop that 3-week ban on indoor dining.
The Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association has filed a lawsuit against Robert Gordon. He's the director of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The group says it has made attempts to reach a compromise to avoid a full shutdown, including reducing capacity to 25% and a 10 p.m. curfew. Meanwhile, Dooley's in Roseville is planning a big party tonight before the governor's shutdown goes into effect. Sean Lay joins us live now. And Sean, this sounds to me like a super spreader event, but I know you talked to the owner this afternoon.
Well, we just got off the phone with Roseville's mayor, and he wants to make sure it's not a super spreader event. And the owner admits his promotion for this is rather provocative, calling it the Big Gretsch Edition. And look behind me, that tent, that's not where the party is. It's in the brick and mortar Dooley's behind me. And the owner invited our cameras in to show us how he's keeping things safe tonight and how he's been keeping safe ever since the pandemic began.
It's not our governor's fault. It's a virus that we have, and we have to deal with it.
Frank Scorey says he supports the governor and the moves she has to make to get a handle on an exploding COVID-19 problem. Still, Scorey, a small businessman, he owns Dooley's in Roseville. Before bars and restaurants are ordered to close indoor service tomorrow, tonight, Dooley's is hosting a party called the Big Gretsch Edition.
Some people find it a little offensive, but we just want to attract a little attention.
And he is getting attention based on his promoter's Facebook ad for tonight's event.
Some good, some bad. People are looking forward to getting out of the house the last time, but some people find it offensive with the little red X's on their eyes.
And what about those red X's over the governor's eyes?
It's just something the promoter came up with, because some people don't like our governor, some people do. I have no mixed feelings about it. I'm happy with what she does.
Roseville, COVID-19 cases are shooting upward. 54 cases in September, 167 cases in October, 216 cases so far in November. Dooley's owner says he is worried about the trend.
It's been a concern of mine, too. I knew it was coming.
Months ago, he hired an anti-COVID company that fogs the bar, killing viruses. Lights in vents kill the virus. Masks are mandatory. He has to be at 50% capacity. And Frank Scorey says his promotion might look like it, but he says it is not an in-your-face to Governor Whitmer.
We got to survive.
Small businesses, we hear that all the time, have to survive. Look, Roseville's mayor says they have an excellent relationship with Dooley's and the owner, but still, they're going to send police and fire out a little later tonight to make sure everyone is being safe. Dooley's owner says he has to operate within the rules, 50% capacity, so that goes from 300 inside to 150. If too many people show up, They move outside to the tent behind me, and then Dooley's will not be closed. The brick and mortar will close at midnight per the governor's order, and then they'll move out to the tent after that and continue operations day after day. We're live tonight. Sean Lane, Local 4, back to you.
Well, it is hard on small business owners. They got to survive. He's right about that. Thank you, Sean.
Well, despite pleas for leniency, former UAW GM Vice President Joe Ashton is headed to prison. Federal judge today said 30 months is enough time to alert others to avoid illegal union activity. Local 4 business editor Rob Maloney joins us live this evening with the very latest. Rod.
Yeah, in his Zoom sentencing today, Joe Ashton, who is 72 years old, pleaded with the judge to spare him jail time for a couple of reasons. One, his wife has multiple sclerosis, is largely blind and deaf, and depends on him to be there for her as essentially her nurse. He's 72, has health issues, and believes he could catch COVID in prison. And the judge said, well, in as much as he understands all of that, what Joe Ashton did gives him reason to send him to prison. Joe Ashton is the second highest ranking UAW official snared in the UAW scandal that's trapped 15 union leaders and staffers. He not only led the sprawling UAW GM Center for Human Resources, he also sat on the General Motors board of directors. Over 3 years, allegedly to help his brother, Ashton steered a $250,000 union contract to a business run by his chiropractor, taking kickbacks along the way. Ashton ordered the purchase of 58,000 custom UAW wristwatches to be sold to members. But they never were sold. They sat in a warehouse and the batteries all died. A $4 million loss to the union. Today, in a Zoom sentencing, prosecutors said, quote, as a UAW executive, he enjoyed power, influence, and prestige. He didn't need the money, but he wanted it. Joe Ashton had it all, and the only explanation is pure greed, end quote. Judge Bernard Friedman agreed, saying, quote, this kind of case goes to the very foundation of a union, which is trust. Sometimes good people do bad things, and that's what happened here. The judge followed the plea agreement, giving Ashton 30 months in a federal prison, saying there were just too many victims, the thousands of UAW members impacted by what he called Joe Ashton's greed. The scandal led the union to abandon the old union training programs and the massive CHR building on the Detroit River. It sits in the shadow of the Rensen, GM's world headquarters. Now, Ashton did say that he was apologetic to the union membership, and he was remorseful for having done what he did and bringing ill repute onto the union. The judge did cut Ashton a bit of a break by saying that he did not have to report to prison until June of 2021. Back to you.
Rod, do the UAW have anything to say about today's sentencing?
Yes, they do, and they have all along, and it's largely the same. They said that today's sentence of former UAW member Joe Ashton is appropriate. His crimes defy everything we stand for as a union and demonstrate his lack of respect for the oath of office he took and the rank and file members he represented.
All right. Thank you, Rod.
2 children now recovering after a violent crash on Detroit's east side, and it was all caught on camera. It happened Monday night in the area of East 7 Mile and Chalmers. Good Samaritans rushed to get the family out of their truck shortly before a brief altercation before the drivers. Our Victor Williams reports on how this all played out.
You can still see all the debris on the ground from where that car overturned with the whole family inside. One man caught all of the aftermath on camera, astonished that the people nearby all scrambled to get the kids out of the vehicle.
There's been a bad accident on 14298 East 7 Mile.
GoPro video captures the intense moments a family of 4 had to be pulled out of a pickup truck that flipped over.
I'm getting ready to go home and I heard the crash.
Mike, who works at Advanced Tech Auto Repair right next door, was behind the camera. He says he was amazed at all the people who stopped everything to help the children that were inside.
I mean, there was like 15, 20 people trying to help get the kids out and trying to break the windows.
There's 2 kids, a mom and a mother and a father.
The first child, a little boy, is pulled out, and it's a sight Mike replays in his head over and over again.
When they got the first child out, he was covered in blood.
The mother watched in disbelief as she frantically waited for her second son to be pulled from the wreckage. Eventually, he makes it out.
They finally got the second child out, who was unconscious when they put him on the floor, and the mom and dad were freaking out.
First responders finally arrived to clear the scene and provide medical attention. but not before the father, who was the last to make it out, takes a swing at the driver believed to cause the accident to begin with.
He had a lot of anger towards that guy. That guy knew he was in the wrong. That whole family could have, lost their lives that day. But I'm glad that they made it.
And right now it's unclear if the driver of the other vehicle will be charged with anything. In the meantime, we are on the east side. Victor Williams, Local 4.
We continue to follow some breaking news from downtown Detroit, where a meeting is happening to decide on certifying the results of the election in Wayne County. We've just learned the board is deadlocked with a 2-2 vote. The vote went along party lines, with Republican members voting to not certify the election, the Democrats voting yes, certify. That means that right now, the votes in Wayne County have not been certified. The meeting continues, and we will keep following it.
Well, still more to come tonight here on Local 4 News at 6. Ben Bailey joins us with a look at what we can expect for tonight. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Karen. We've just got a few more hours of the coldest part of this forecast, and then we're off to the races. We'll see how warm things get once we ditch the snow later tonight.
The pandemic has taken a heavy toll on our mental health, and new research finds younger people are especially hard hit. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Coming up, the startling statistics on the impact in young adults and a major factor behind their depression and anxiety.